Welcome to Bits and Bobs, a virtual training collection by Kaleidoscope Youth Center. In this series, we dive headfirst into identities that don't get their fair share of the limelight. Hi there, my name's Lane, and I use they/them pronouns. Up next, pronouns. Something we vaguely remember learning about in elementary school comes back in the real world. Pronouns are the words we use when we don't use your name. Most people use she, her, hers, or he, him, his pronouns. Cisgender men use he, him, his pronouns, and cisgender women use she, her, hers pronouns. Remember, cisgender means someone's gender identity aligns with the sex they were assigned at birth. Some trans or gender nonconforming people use she, her, hers, or he, him, his pronouns, but others will use a gender-neutral pronoun in order to disrupt people's assumptions about their expression. According to the Trevor Project, 1 in every 4 LGBTQIA+ young people uses a gender-neutral pronoun. The most common gender-neutral pronoun is they, them, theirs. Some people use more than one set of pronouns, like she and they, or he and she. This just means you can alternate between the different sets of pronouns as you speak about that person. For example, she went to the deli to get a sandwich for themselves. If you're unsure of someone's pronouns, the best thing to do is just ask. What are your pronouns? If they're confused by your question, use this as an opportunity to educate someone else. Do you use she or he or they pronouns? Usually, they'll have caught on at this point. If they get offended, well, I'm obviously a he, him. That is okay. They are responsible for interrogating and deconstructing their own biases. You just open the door for them. Always introduce yourself with your pronouns. It can feel strange at first, but the more you practice, the more it will become second nature. Hi, my name's Lane, and I use they/them pronouns. When you provide your own pronouns, you show others that you're a safe person and have at least a little bit of understanding about the trans community. Pronouns are deeply tied to gendered language, and gendered language is everywhere. These are words or phrases that have a gender associated with its use. For example, beautiful, sweetie, cute, aunt, niece, daughter, mother, girlfriend, she, her, hers. These are words we frequently use to describe women or feminine people. He, him, his, son, brother, husband, boyfriend, uncle, nephew, grandpa, and handsome are usually words used to describe men or masculine people. Partner, children, spouse, family, cousin, and sibling are all words that don't indicate the gender of the person you're speaking about. These are terms that are considered gender-neutral language. Okay, so now we've defined some examples of feminine language, masculine language, and gender-neutral language. When you use the wrong gender of language to talk about someone, it's called misgendering. For example, calling your coworker's daughter son, or asking your brother about his girlfriend, but come to find out he's dating a non-binary person who uses gender-neutral identifiers like spouse or partner. Misgendering can be disrespectful if it's done intentionally. And even if you misgender someone by accident, it can be painful for the person you misgendered. When you misgender someone, the best thing to do is correct yourself quickly and move on. Don't make a big fuss of it or apologize profusely. When you do that, you center your own discomfort over the discomfort of the person you just harmed. If you feel the need to make an apology, make it brief. As a general rule, the apology should not last longer than it took for you to make the mistake. The real change needs to be in your behavior. If you find yourself struggling with misgendering someone, practice using their correct pronouns when they're not around, or add their pronouns to the contact card in your phone. Deadnaming is related to misgendering because it involves using the incorrect language when referring to a person. When you deadname someone, you use their old name, or the name they had before they transitioned. Deadnaming is a contentious term. Some trans and gender nonconforming people change their name as a part of their transition. Their old name is sometimes called a dead name or a given name, since it was the name they were given at birth. Some people take issue with the term dead name because it insinuates that the person you were before you came out has died, and that may not reflect the way you feel about your transition. Given name, birth name, or government name all serve the same purpose. When someone asks you to call them something different, it's important that you respect their request. It may be tricky at first, and it might even be emotionally difficult to grasp why they need a new name. Just remember that those emotions are valid, but they're yours to process. Ultimately, it's your responsibility to work through those emotions and use someone's new name. Neopronouns are a big conversation in the LGBTQIA+ community. The prefix neo means new, but neopronouns are not new. They've been around for a long, long time. The first recorded use of neopronouns occurred in 1858 when Merriam-Webster included thon in a publication. Thon functioned as a contraction for that one. There are an infinite number of neopronouns, as new pronouns are created every day. They're not widely used across society yet, but our young people are leading the movement to make that happen. Z, zir, and zirs, or z, here, and heres. These are examples of neopronouns. These pronouns are used to disrupt the assumptions people make about you based on your expression. Z asked for a cup of water. The backpack is Z's. Z laughed at Z herself after Z tripped on the sidewalk. These can definitely be tricky to wrap your head around, but not impossible. There are an infinite number of neopronouns, and new ones are popping up every day. If you ever come across pronouns that you don't know how to use, Google it, or ask the person who uses them. How do you pronounce that? Can you use your pronouns in a sentence? Practice by yourself when you're not around that person, and eventually your brain will adapt. Right now, some young people are using its pronouns. This comes from the belief that all things on earth are of equal value. Why would we call a tree it, but humans get a special pronoun? It can, however, be complicated if you are an adult regularly interacting with a young person who uses its pronouns. It can feel like you're devaluing or dehumanizing the person you're talking about. But that's generally the objective of its pronouns. This can definitely be uncomfortable, but it's our belief at Kaleidoscope that each person is the expert in their own identity, regardless of their age. So if someone uses its pronouns, it's important that we respect that request and use its pronouns. If you found this mini course helpful, check out some of our others on topics like sexual identity, asexuality, or intersex, or invite KYC out to facilitate a live training. And visit our website to learn more about our programs. Visit kycohio.org/donate to make a one-time donation, or join our Unity Circle. Your contributions will help KYC continue to serve LGBTQIA+ young people in our community. That's all for now.